Jordan, like, did you hear anything we talked about last night? He's like, a little bit, but not really. And I was like,
I'm always
all right,
tired.
good.
You're always tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so, as I was saying earlier, what used to make humans unique was war. We're the only animal that did it. The only animal that decided, like, we're going to fight these people because they have something we want. Right? I mean, but then gorillas started doing it, or monkeys. Some type of monkey started doing it, or ape, whatever you want to call them, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously, it doesn't make us unique anymore. But
You know what else makes us unique?
What's-
Opposable thumbs.
otters have thumbs.
Yeah, but we have opposable
Yeah, and
thumbs.
So
ants will wage
do that
war
too.
against other ant colonies.
And
but
that's not war, is it? They just
I
kind
mean,
We can speak English!
they do like see that
Okay.
another ant colony has a lot of
You're saying a Mexican
resources,
isn't human?
No, I'm
and
saying we,
start
like,
fighting
we can
the
communicate
ant
with
colony.
every type of human. You can't communicate with animals.
Well,
Not
Yeah.
effectively.
okay, so war, right?
But I think your main point is like war makes us.
It
There's
makes us
something
what we
about
are.
war that
That we love. So,
Uh-huh. I just like to argue with him.
she does. But
It's always good.
it makes her look bad, though.
No, it
I
doesn't.
destroyed you yesterday.
No, you
And you know I did.
didn't. No, I stand by what I said.
But we'll get to that topic. We'll get to that. That'll be a whole nother recording.
No, that one won't be recorded. No.
Why? 'Cause you don't want to be. You want to be. You don't want to have it recorded that you lose again.
Didn't lose.
We absolutely lost. Patty, she lost it
No.
easily.
Patty.
I don't believe in
I-
science. That's the loss right there.
I wasn't here. I
I
can't.
said I don't believe in your science.
There's only one type of science.
No,
is
there's
what
not.
it is.
Even you said yesterday there's so different types of
I
science.
mean, like, yes, there's multiple types of science, but there are still science as a whole, the understanding of the things around you. That doesn't change no matter what I say.
Uh-huh.
So, whatever.
I mean,
Look.
the point is like, should you be looking to science? Like, I think the like more relevant point is, should you look to science to gain understanding about the things in your life so that you can do more skilled things,
But
or
that's
should you look to some other paradigm?
Well, that's what science really is, isn't it? Is to understand the world around you to help you be like a smarter, more like when we can understand like things like metallurgy, right? That like the Iron Age that led the industrial era, you know? Like it boosted us so far up evolutionarily because we understood things better, our surroundings better. And also, going back to the original topic, war leads to competition, and so when humans like to compete. So when we compete, we want to make the better thing. So then it kind of fuels us to understand.
And make weapons that destroy nations.
Well, yeah, but you want to be better, just not just weapons, but everything. Better technologies, better like
But then
smarter
China's
people.
got us beat.
No, they don't. That's China have a beat.
Technology.
We have way better technology than China does. I mean, probably similar now because
Then
we trade ideas.
why is everything made in China that we have here?
Because they mass
There's
produce
more-
things, and there's more workers.
Manufacturing.
Yeah. But China's air is so toxic in some parts
Yeah.
because they
But who did that?
did.
Well,
They did.
'Cause they
They
produce
did,
everything.
but our demand for their products.
It wasn't
kinda-
our. It wasn't technically our. It was world demand.
Yeah, world demand for their products.
But look at World
Yeah,
War
for
II.
their products.
You know how much money America made during World War II before we got involved? A lot.
No.
Because you're selling all these weapons to all these different people. You're selling weapons to Germany, selling weapons to Europe, selling weapons to stuff to Japan.
I'm not getting into World War II.
I'm saying war.
Yeah, but I'm saying out of World War II because I hate that war.
Well, yeah, everybody hates that war. It's a terrible war. But it's important for history. You can't forget it. It's the Civil
Well,
War.
I didn't say I was going to forget it. I said I don't like talking about it.
I'm not talking about something easy forgetting. But it's like the Civil War, right? They just tear down the statues, right?
Yeah.
Why? Well, the statues suck in general, right? They're stupidly built. What I'm saying is, if you erase the history books, then you're going to forget what we even did. It's going to happen again.
Yeah.
So you can't do that.
No.
But then, so that also helps us understand things better. Like, and war is weird in that way. Like, if everybody got along, where do you think the world would be? I guess that's
a better place.
Would it though?
Yeah, sure.
So,
What do you think? What do you give me? an
Without
opinion.
war?
Yeah, without war, do you think we would be where we are today?
well, let's just put it more personal, right? So, in a friend group or in a
We'd
group,
be more
in a
populated.
situation where
Than we already are.
Would we?
Possibly.
Well, there was
because less
genocide.
people would die, but I don't know if that would be better. Necessarily.
But less people die from other people. But what about sicknesses? What about other things? Overcrowdedness, poverty, famine.
I guess there's no way to predict.
Right, yeah, how would you really know, right? Unless it didn't happen.
Well, you
But that's
can
right, that's
look
an
at
opinion. What do you think?
can look at tribes who don't have war and see the technologies that those kind of tribes produce versus the tribes that do have war or have large numbers of war. Like the Yanomami in the Amazon,
Yeah.
60% of them die in war. So they're very violent people, and I guess if you come in contact with them, they tend to
Okay. So
drive out outsiders.
So let's draw like four however many types of people.
I kind
have-
of just want to actually focus on your first point, which is like competition driving technology.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And
is
now I'm wondering-
with the four options, you have those people. I forgot the
The Yanomami.
there you go. I was gonna say an enemy, but I was like, that's not right.
Uh,
But so
enema.
they hate other people, right? Nobody can come near them; they'll kill them. So you have this extreme dislike of everybody around them.
Yeah.
And you have people like, I can't really think, but like, I guess people kind of like the Huns, where it's like, they're still terrible and they probably kill most people, but they're willing to talk to people. And then you have people like, I'm trying to think of like a country, but I can't think of, but like, they like to talk, but they'll also kill you too. Like, I guess old-fashioned America. We like to talk to people, but we also like to kill people. And then you have, let's say, a totally peaceful nation. Let's say like Sweden in World War II. Totally peaceful, didn't get involved, stayed neutral. You know, so we have these four types of situations to be in. Which one's gonna be the
Well,
most
there's
successful?
there's a fifth situation, and that's the type of tribe that goes out, and whenever they see another tribe, they try to help the other tribe.
Okay,
they
yes,
actually
the
try to
fifth.
contribute resources to the other tribe.
So the fifth is, instead of not fighting, you're actually you're giving resources.
Yeah,
to
you're
somebody
giving
else.
aid,
You're
and
being
you know
generous.
America actually gives aid to many different countries in
We
this
do.
world. So though we do fight, we
Well, I'm
also
saying we-
give a lot of aid.
Old-fashioned America.
Oh, I'm talking about New America. We give aid.
Yeah,
We give
nowadays, no, that's the
extensive
thing.
aid.
Nowadays we give aid a lot, but back in the day we didn't.
Oh yeah.
Back in like Teddy Roosevelt, we were very isolationist. Like, don't give them anything. They don't deserve it.
So which of these groups is
The most successful.
Yeah, the most fit.
Yes.
You know, my initial impression would be like a group that was more that was moderate in their, oh, we like to help people, we like to help friends, we like to hurt enemies, probably would outcompete the other groups. But
Like Rome.
my hope, my desire is that last group. It's that group that helps out the whole system, is the one that survives the longest in the future.
Yeah, because instead of making enemies, they make allies.
But so you have to think of it like, okay, they want to make friends with everybody, but not everyone wants to make friends with them, right? You have the tribe that's super hostile to anybody. How are they going to get to them? They're getting killed, right? So in the case of, let's say, talk about like ancient Rome, they were they were like not the first civilization, but they were like the Rome was the
Yeah,
top.
the first like kind of Western civilization.
Yeah,
Like, if we think of like what makes us today, we probably go back to Rome.
Exactly, like democracy, governments, and like there's order, public order. Bad things are happening, but like things went pretty well.
And
for a
then the
long time.
Vikings came.
Well, the barbarians,
The
immigrants,
barbarians, yeah.
a lot of different things.
The
Terrible
Gauls and the
leaders.
Visigoths.
Yeah, the terrible leaders. So it's just a lot of different things.
And Rome grew very large and couldn't
Yeah, Alexander the
defend
Great.
all of its borders.
Alexander the Great made Rome incredibly good, and then he died, and then it was just like, now what? And then they shrunk right back down again because they couldn't. The costs were too much for the armies.
Alexander the Great?
Yeah.
Why is did he defeat the Persian Empire?
He expanded Rome from just a little island to like parts of Spain, the northern part of Africa, into like in the Middle East. He had like entire control of the Mediterranean. But then he got malaria in Africa and died. and then Rome
So-
shrunk right back down again because nobody could defend those.
I want to
those-
ask it like in a friend group, right? Let's say you have a friend who comes into a group that people want the attention of, right?
Okay.
So there are some ways that we can do to get the attention of this person. We can develop habits, or just we can change ourselves to like maybe listen to their music, or start to go work out if you're a guy, or
Girls
if you're a girl. I mean, sure. It's just like probably the girls are going to maybe
Do more, yeah.
gain, like if you wanted to gain a guy's attention, or if a guy wanted your attention, maybe working out would be
You do a masculine thing for the masculine. Yeah.
maybe, yeah, if that's like the variable that they're operating on.
Yeah, masculine and feminine things. Yes.
Whereas I don't know, what do girls do to gain attention from like if you wanted a guy to give you attention?
I think it's
there-
individuality, right? Go back to that again.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a lot different than like a lot of
Most girls?
Yeah,
Because
Most girls do like makeup, get a new dress, outfit.
that
clothes.
I'm the opposite of that.
And do you actually do that to try to get people's attention, or do you do that like?
I personally don't. If I wear makeup, I wear it for me because I want to wear it. Because sometimes when I do wear makeup, I wear a lot of it.
I guess I just show like compassion for them.
so you put yourself in their point of view, right? Like you
Yeah.
kind of, you're like, oh, I like them, but you don't just sit around and do nothing. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to them. We're gonna show interest in them in some way.
Yeah.
Touch them.
Yeah.
So, I guess then I'm
Exactly.
wondering.
Touch 'em.
Let's say somebody comes in the group who's like you, who
Mm-hmm.
also shows compassion toward this third party. Is that?
Is it a triangle now? We're talking about triangle.
Yeah, I'm talking about a triangle, kind of. I mean, it's not like. It's more like each of the legs of the triangle are trying to get one person.
Yeah. So it's a love. It's like a love triangle. Yeah.
Well, a love triangle, it's, you know, this one's trying to get this one's trying to get this one, and this one's trying to get that one.
Okay. All right.
But you're each
A
trying to get...
right angle triangle, and the right angle is the whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
So I'm just wondering, is it better to have that that second person there to, who likes the same person as you, who's trying to grab the attention of the same person as
No.
you? Because then you'll start competing with that person.
No, because then the person's probably gonna like one of you, not both of you, obviously. If they like either of you or whatever, and then the other person's just gonna be like annoyed about that or jealous, basically.
Okay.
You know.
So this is what I'm gonna say. Talking about, is anything not even like with people with even like a resource, right? Let's say there's iron or even gold or whatever. There's a resource that me and you want,
Yeah, like...
and we both can't have it because we both want all of it, right? Because we're selfish as humans. We're selfish.
hmm
All for me. I will share it with you, but you gotta make it worth my time. But then you're like, no, we're gonna fight about it.
So we could, like, cook a plate of bacon. We bring it out here.
Yeah. And either we can cut it in the middle and be like, this is good. But the problem is now, you know, I only have half and you have half. And it's like, how do I know you're going to know what you're doing with your half? And how are you going to know what I'm doing with my half, right? To make the proper things. Or I could take it all and do whatever I want with it. And you get nothing. Or you take it all and I get nothing, right? So some people with, you know, we talk about the 5 different situations, people will be like, you can have all of it and I'll let you figure it out, right? The generous people. And you have the people that are like, I will kill you if you touch it because it is mine, because just because. And so I think the people that are willing to give some away to them for a gain are going to be the most successful. But they're not afraid to like kill the other person and take it if they have to, because, or like not even to kill the other person, but to compete. Because let's say there's another party now. It's talking about like people, because Iron K doesn't have feelings, it's just a resource. But like, so if me and whoever can compete with somebody to get somebody else, you would have to make yourself be better than the other person, right? So
Yeah.
how would you do that? You'd have to compete. And yeah, it can lead to problems, but that's just the nature of the competition. But somebody has to come up better. But if there was never that person or that resource to make you compete, would you have ever grown better?
Yeah, so
As fast.
there are like many, many people, right? There's not only 2. There's probably like 10,
Yeah.
right? But you could have like a...
But not that you can see right now.
Yeah, but you can only see like maybe one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, is it good to have that one so that, you know, they get a little better, then you're like, oh, they did that, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do it and improve it.
Exactly. You're gonna
You know?
make yourself better faster because there's a goal.
Yeah, they made 10 strips, I'm gonna make 12.
Yeah. Boom, you just made more. But would you have made 12 from the beginning?
No.
Exactly. Because you had no reason to. So, and war is kind of like that.
Mhm.
Where you have, like, a society that's, like, has, like, let's say the barbarians knocking at Rome's gate. Well, we don't want them to kill us, so what are we going to do? We have to be better than them. Would they have built those technologies that make them better if they didn't have that threat? Probably not. I mean, look at the Native Americans. I mean, Native Americans had war all the time, but they were very isolated sometimes. So it wasn't so close together as it is in Europe. So it didn't really lead to the kind of that explosion of technology that Rome had.
So now I'm wondering, like, I'm thinking, okay, so clearly war creates an arms race. You know, like, I'll build swords, you build arrows, I'll build horses, you build spearmen, I build...
Then you have your friends who are like, hey, I'll help you out because I don't like those guys either. I'll give you, if you pay me this, I'll give you some resources that you probably can't get from nowhere else, right? Like, say, like China helped out Rome. I'll give you some silk because I don't like the barbarians either.
You're welcome.
Ooh.
Chicken nuggets.
Lindsay coming out here with the chicken nuggets. But see,
Wait,
Thank
don't
you.
all jump out at once.
I
Yeah.
expect a tip after this.
Ow.
cook
Thanks,
more.
Lindsay.
That's your
Y'all,
tip.
you want to watch a movie? I
My,
don't want to watch it.
Maybe?
Is it about war?
yeah.
Ow.
We could watch Saving.
Taste of the cane.
We could just watch Saving Private Ryan. But that's
I haven't seen that movie. I've
it
seen
is
Hey.
a
clips.
sad movie.
Have you seen Kingsman?
No.
It's a really good movie.
I heard it was alright, but yeah, it's a sad movie. But that's the thing is
Why
that
do you
like
like it, Amber?
What, Kingsman?
Yeah.
Has a lot of action, and it has a lot of bloody action.
Nice.
that's Action Bronson,
But wait, does it have action?
maybe.
Okay.
But like,
They
like-
came out with a
More
second one too.
at
I haven't
eight.
seen it.
but the thing is with war, right? Is people are gonna die, unfortunately.
Yeah, war doesn't create happiness, I
It
don't
doesn't.
think. It creates more technology, but does it create happiness? Like the Native Americans,
the
are
cost.
they happier than the Romans? You know, I think that's where we have to, like, separate this.
But it's cost versus sacrifice, right? What are you willing to sacrifice to be better? A couple lives? I guess so. But also in the same case, wars aren't always fought over such simple things, like over resource. Sometimes they're fought over ideas. You're talking about World War II, even World War I. Both the world wars, they were fought over ideas.
I think most
So-
wars in the modern era are
Oh.
fought over ideas, not
Yeah, that's
resources.
why war is a lot different than it used to be. Like, as war's changed, you know, it used to be like, you have this thing I want and I can't get it anywhere else. You won't give it to me, so I guess I'm gonna have to take it from you. Whereas now it's just like, I hate this certain race of people, so I'm gonna kill them. Oh, you can't do that because that's bad for us as a people, right? So stop.
Yeah,
so
humans
the world was
don't
gonna
do
stop
that,
you. Yeah,
So.
the world was gonna stop you, just because that's not okay. Whereas some countries, let's say like in Africa, right, they have the genocide, the Rwandan genocide. We didn't get involved because, well, one, because it really wasn't our place to, and two, it's like that's something they, in a way, you know, people debate about it all the time. But it's like in a way they kind of have to figure that on their own because we learn a lot from war in good ways and bad ways. I think, like after World War one of them, like PTSD wasn't really a thing. Like until people started people started coming back and like being all messed up from what they saw, and people didn't really understand. Like, oh, they're just war, right? It makes you bad, makes you mess with your head a little bit. And then Vietnam happened, and it was really bad. And we understood, oh, this is what this is, and then we realized how bad war is, and we're like, we should really stop doing this. And that's why we haven't. I mean, we had Desert Storm, but that was like because 9/11. You kind of had to, but we realized we got to stop doing this because it's not like medieval times, right? You there's not like you don't go into like a rage and like, oh, you're swinging your sword around, right? It's like you just walk down the street and get just shot in the head by somebody in like the bushes.
Not like the berserkers.
Yeah, like in medieval times, the war was just like straight up in your face, like you know, crazy dudes fighting. Whereas now it's just like you can kill somebody from a computer. So it's like it's not even the way it used to be, where like the glory of it. There's no more glory in war. Like, it just sucks.
So you're saying you think war sucks for the
I think war sucks
people
now.
who fight it now?
Yeah, I think now war is kind of useless. I think we don't need it anymore because the point we're at now as a people, it doesn't do anything for us except for just getting more people killed and ruining stuff, like making people worse or hating each other for stupid reasons. Like, whereas back in the day, like Roman times, even medieval England or China, it led to competition, which led to booms of technology. Whereas now it's just like, I can kill you from a computer. What does that do for me? No, nothing, right? What do I learn from that? Nothing. It desensitizes you, makes people
It might
care.
make you learn to get a computer yourself. I mean, if you're killed by a computer, I think I would want to
I mean, like, yeah, I can like use a computer.
get my own drone.
Exactly. You get a drone, you can drop bombs on people, right? But that's for me, it's teaching you to kill. And you only think you're learning negatively, you're not learning positively. Because there's no more competition, because America, with our war technologies, we have like the best technologies. I mean, once the nuclear bomb was invented, it was like, alright, time to stop. Because now we have the ability to just end anything whenever we wanted to. I mean, I don't know, it's crazy, the evolution of war, but it's human nature. But we haven't had like a significant war, like World War II was what, almost 1935? 37? I don't know, I don't remember the exact date. But, and that was a long time ago. We haven't had a war on that scale in a very long time because we realized, like, after America dropped the nukes, after the Holocaust, after all the Russians that died, we're like, this is not worth it. This is not good. This is bad. We shouldn't do this anymore. But of course, politicians make that kind of challenging, because that's a whole other debate. Politicians, right? But
Was war ever good in the first place?
it had its benefits, but I don't think it has benefits anymore. Unless you like talking
Yeah,
about
you're
like,
trying to go and join the Air Force.
because there's benefits. Well, there's benefits in the way that I'm getting rewarded with these things. I mean, benefits for humanity. That's just a singular benefit.
So you think that it is,
Like
I
if-
guess, like it's okay. It's okay to do something for yourself, even if the system that you do it for
It's flawed.
is not okay.
Well, you can say the same thing with a lot of things, though, right? Like with, like police, right? Police are good, right? I think they have a decent job, but a lot of people don't like them because, like, oh, they do bad things. But it's like, yeah, but they're still necessary. It's necessary for us to have a military,
Yeah.
and you can join that military, but it doesn't mean you're gonna fight in a war. It means you could if it does happen, but it's not the intention. The intention is to do this job just as a soldier or airman or whatever branch you're in, So it's, yeah. I mean, I have no problems with it if I do get deployed and I have to do that because that's part of the job. But
so now it seems
that's
to me
not
like
my
you're
intention.
saying now war is necessary.
I'm saying war's not necessary, but it happens. Whereas back in the day, it happened and it helped us. Whereas now it doesn't really help us. Like, it doesn't help us on a grand scale of things, unless there's Nazis again or something. I don't know.
I feel like war kind of drives up the chances of like there being Nazis again, or there being fundamentalist groups that
Absolutely.
don't like your country or don't like.
Well, that's where ISIS came from. Like, we were over there dropping bombs all over this country, and some of the people were innocent, but
Now we're in a sticky situation because
Yeah.
like
now those people that we drop bombs on, their kids hate us, and they made ISIS.
so like what do? You
Then
have
you-
to have this military to defend against this threat, but your
That you-
military is creating this threat.
Yeah, your military created the threat, but now it's going to try and stop the threat again, which is now it's going to... But the problem with that is, when we did those things, when we killed Osama and Saddam, we needed to... It was just a bad situation because we could have handled it way better, but we didn't. Same thing with Vietnam. we're doing it all wrong, and it leads to a bunch of problems. When you something with like war, if you do like anything wrong, everybody's gonna know about it, and it's gonna make your country look bad. It's gonna make their Vietnam was like the first really televised war. Like obviously in World War II they had like the radio and like the newspaper, but like that wasn't really like they only told you the good stuff. So you thought, oh, we're doing a good job, right? But like Vietnam, you saw the videos of like what was happening. You're like, this is awful. Why would anybody want to do this? And then people over here were like, well, that's a stupid war. Bring people home. And people started getting mad at the soldiers for being over there. So then the soldiers come back home with PTSD, getting yelled at by these hippies. It's like,
Yeah, I guess Brother West said today that he changed his name on Facebook, so he's a cop, right?
Mhm.
He changed his name on Facebook because a lot of cops get a lot of hate on Facebook. They get like stalked on Facebook and then hate on Facebook.
is that why
Because
it's like,
that's why his starts with a C.
Yeah.
seven? It's like 7 West.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that's like, oh, it's a weird name.
That's what he said was his reason, and that's pretty awful,
Yeah.
right?
Because some cops messed it up for the rest of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the military. I mean, there was a case a couple of years ago where a general, I don't remember, I think it was like 3-star maybe. But I mean, general is like one of the highest positions you can have. Everybody knows that. Was like raping people. Like, now you're making the entire army look bad. Are you making our country look bad because you can't control yourself? You can't control your urges.
So then the question is, do these people come into the military or the cop force? Do these people become attracted to that because of what that allows them to do? Or does the cop force or the military have some influence in creating these people?
I mean, in that case, well,
You know, because the first implies the solution there is to vet who comes into your military or your police force more.
and they
The
do.
second implies you must change this institution.
Well, they do. When I was in, it was very like don't do these things. Don't even like look at a girl the wrong way, or you're gonna get it's a sexual harassment charge waiting to happen, right? Like they're very like don't do it.
Whoa,
So when people start,
but I'm not in there.
I mean, no, that like not that strict, but like just like you don't even touch girls, right? Don't even like
Yeah, I'm very comfy.
yeah get a
Same.
Jesus. You have to give Jesus room, right? You know, the arm length distance, right? So like, so they tell you, hey, don't do these things. So if you do those things, you're in the wrong. The military did everything they told you not to do, and you started to break that rule anyways. Who's to blame, right? The person, because the institution was like, hey, don't do this, and they start doing it. It's like, well,
Yeah,
You
doing
make-
those things are probably not like inherently bad, but they could like lead to more things. Like, you know, like that isn't doing anything, but like
but yeah, if I was in
if they make those barriers, then like
yeah,
nothing can happen.
exactly,
So-
be as strict as possible.
Yeah.
Like don't even like with Mormonism, right?
Yeah.
Don't even do it because some of you can't handle it. So don't even do it. It's like okay, fine, and I won't do it, and then you're good to go. But then so same thing with the army. Like don't hug them, don't look at them for too long, don't give them those eyes that we talked about. You know, don't give them those looks. Don't I don't want you to even look when they're turning around. You better not be looking at them because you're gonna be looking at something you shouldn't be. Right? Like don't do it because you could get in trouble because people are like that. But so people still do it though because people are people. So it's
So,
like okay,
I
it's
feel like-
it's individuality at that point.
I feel like there's something about like, so if you have like a system or an authority that like has lots of rules and regulations, like don't like Mormonism has a couple, right? I don't know how many, if it's more or less in the military than Mormonism, or like it's not more or less, but if the rules are more or less extensive, you know, you have the number of rules and the extent of the rule.
Yeah.
So
I'll put more and more military.
there are people who create those rules.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering, you know, does this, like, if you create rules, you have power, or like, I'm not wondering this, but if you create rules, you have power over that portion. You get to tell somebody what to do.
Mhm.
So these people, I feel like, you know, as humans, we kind of very much like freedom. We don't like to be being told what to do or what not to do.
Mhm.
Stuck in a box.
So, yeah, stuck in a box. And when people are stuck in boxes, they feel trapped or stressed. They want to get out of the box somehow. Or they oftentimes do things that the box doesn't allow them to do. So now I'm just like thinking of these two different things. One, the creator of the box. The other, the people in the box. Is there some role that these things play in creating abominations or monsters or trigger happy people or...
With that, the people that create the box, right? Like I guess way back when, like the president, right? George Washington, when the United States Army was first formed, right? He had this base set of rules, right? No desertion, no, don't kill innocents, right? It's a base reasonable rule set. He made the box, and so, but you had the option to go into that box, right? You're not forced to be in the military, so, or you're not forced to be a Mormon. You're not forced to do that, right? So, and if you don't want to follow those rules of the box, cell, whatever, then don't go in it.
Yeah, so but what if there are benefits? Like...
Well, there's a lot of benefits to being in the military, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe some Mormons find that there are benefits to being Mormons.
Yeah, they're blessings, right?
Blessings.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Those are religious benefits.
And eternal salvation.
Yeah.
That's a huge benefit.
I mean, exactly, but like, yeah, or like with the military, imagine being like, the highest rank you can be as an NCO is a Sergeant Major of the Army. Imagine being Sergeant Major of the Army. Like, there's only one of you, and you're the top position. Or being like a 4-star general.
Would that feel good?
It'd be, you'd be like, you are like the representative for the Army. Because you are such a big deal, right?
Are you like the head of the Army?
Well, the head of the Army is the president, but like, you're basically the second.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like a metaphor. What are you?
Well, I guess for the military...
The icon?
The commander-in-chief of the military
The face of the military,
is the president.
technically.
So he's the head. The president's the head. But the sergeant major of the army and the 4-star general are like the arms. So
Okay.
the brain tells the arms what to do. But those arms have a lot of control, being arms. So, but there's only one of you, right? There's only left arm and right arm. So,
yeah.
I mean, and like the 4-star general is the more dominant arm because he's an officer, so he's more higher up than the other one. But yes, so, but you bring with that position comes a lot of responsibilities because you represent that position that has a lot of honor to it, right? Like being president. Obviously, we've had a lot of not so great presidents. No opinion on the one we have now. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of opinions, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of honor with that position of like people George Washington held,
You can
Abraham
be
Lincoln.
upfront about your opinions. I mean,
I'm just saying, like,
opinions,
he does bad things, but he does some things I do agree with. So it's like we could talk about that all day, right?
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, like people like George Washington, right? Everybody loved George Washington, mostly, right? I'm gonna speak for everybody, but he is a very great president. Abraham Lincoln, wonderful president. Teddy Roosevelt, my favorite, right? All these great presidents that we had, JFK, kind of,
Did you like how Teddy Roosevelt created like the national park system?
Yeah, dude. And like the square deal. He's like the man's man. Dude got shot in the middle of his speech, kept talking, and then went to the hospital after. It's like that's badass president right there. You know what I mean? So
I feel like that's like shows his character, like resilience.
He
or
was in
willpower,
he was in the military. He was with the Rough Riders. Like there's only 4 of them, and they stormed like the Philippines in the Spanish-American War. Like he was badass.
It's freaking awesome.
Exactly. So it's like to behold this position now. He represents that position. He represents America. He brings a lot of honor to the position. George brought a lot of honor to the position. All these different people, they make it look good. Then you have people who are not so good, like Nixon wasn't so great. Hoover, I don't think was very great. There's another one that's like really terrible. I cannot remember his name now.
Maybe Martin Van Buren?
Maybe, but I mean, I'm talking about like 1900 president.
Oh, I thought the person after Hoover had like a bunch of...
I think after
Or was
Hoover
that-
was Roosevelt. Because Hoover was 1920s, right? The Great Depression.
I think so, yeah.
And then, no, it's Truman. And Truman was World War II.
Truman was like 1950, I think.
Yeah, because he was at the end of World War II. I don't remember. But yeah, so, yeah, there was,
It's Herbert Hoover.
he created the Hoovervilles.
Yeah.
He created the welfare
Or
system and all that.
Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge, yeah. That's what I mean. So those guys make it look bad. But that's not the problem of the position of being president. It's the problem of the people. Right? So it's like, the position really only has as much. It is what it is, like with the rules that it has, and the rules that were made for it are good rules, right? To be president, these are things you have to do, and they're not like bad things. Like you don't have to like sacrifice a child to be president, right? Because that's a bad thing to do. It's like do these basic things, right?
So how does somebody rise in ranks in the military?
Doing your duties, basically following the rules,
Doing your duties.
or
What do you
going
mean?
up and above what is asked of you, right?
Up and above, like, so if you have an assignment,
You do it to the best damn of your ability.
so like, what does it mean to have like a successful assignment?
Like, let's say your assignment is to go here, grab this, like, rescue this hostage or whatever, and then bring him back, right? Let's say you go do that, and the intel was off, right? Somebody messed up, or they were smarter than you thought, right? You go there, you expect only 5 guys there. There's 20 of them. You command your squad, or let's say you command your squad expertly enough for them to handle the situation, to get the hostage out, to eliminate the enemy, and come home like better than they asked of you. That looks good. You get like a little.
So
you get a
there's
thing
an
for that.
interesting scenario here because like, so the person who's like say there are 20 guys, not 5. Your intel was
Make it
off.
Yeah.
Well, so the person going into that, whoever has leadership or command,
Yes.
has to make a decision,
Your captain. Yes.
an informed decision about the risk of the situation.
Yes.
So,
The judgment.
you know, if you choose poorly, you might not come back,
Yeah.
or if you choose poorly, you might be demoted. But
If it's
you,
bad enough, yeah.
yeah, if it's bad enough. But if you choose well, you're saying it's
You're
probably
rewarded.
Yeah, you're rewarded.
Yes.
But it's kind of hard to know if somebody chooses well, if it was a risk or if it was an actual good choice.
Well, and with military, especially a lot of those like situations, you're taking a big risk by doing certain things. Like one of the
Can you
things.
take these inside? It's raining.
One of the things in the military is no man left behind. You don't leave if your buddy goes down. You do not leave him behind because just he's your brother, right? So
Yeah, and I think that's like, if you knew that your brothers were going to leave you, you probably wouldn't defend them as well.
Oh,
You
yeah, exactly.
probably
It's a
would
brotherhood, right?
get a little scared of your own life a little bit, or your family back home. If bringing a body back is really important.
it is because because do you want to be buried in America or buried in some
Oh
shithole
yeah.
in the
Also,
Middle East?
if your body doesn't come back, how do you even know? Maybe that he's being tortured in the
Yeah, he could be
in
tortured.
Middle East.
they could be doing stuff for the body. They could cut up his head and hang it up on a pike
Yeah.
and then put it on the internet. Exactly. That's why you take it. That's why you take it home though, because they don't want to be desecrated. Because the enemy, they don't care. They don't follow the Geneva Convention, right? So, but if let's say no man left behind, and you go get your buddy, your buddy's in the middle of like the what's it called, no man's land. You go and you eliminate the enemy, get your buddy back, like rescue your buddy from a situation, and like go above and on what was expected of you. You'll be rewarded. But if your buddy dies and there's nothing you can do unless you would die, you won't be necessarily like they won't yell at you, they
Yeah,
won't
I mean-
demote you, but you'll just be like, no, it sucked. It's such a terrible situation, but you're like, but if you do this extra level thing, it's just like we're gonna reward you for doing this thing, but we didn't ask of you, but it was a good thing that you did. You see, there's a whole bunch of plaques all over like Fort Jackson where I was, at like people that were promoted because of the heroic acts that they did, right? Like they held down this fort against like 500 men with like a broken arm. Right? Have you ever seen the movie Lone
Yeah.
Survivor
So, Lone Survivor.
with Mark Wahlberg?
No.
So that was a real story. There was I'm not sure if it was Navy SEALs, but there was these 5 guys that were going. I don't know. It might be more than. But there's a squad of guys that were going somewhere in the Middle East, somewhere in Afghanistan, I think. I can't remember. And they were supposed to, I think, protect this village from, I think, Taliban. But the Taliban that were rolling up had a lot. They had like RPGs, they had the whole 9 yards. And like, it was just like they were trying to get out of there, but like you couldn't get any helicopters in because helicopters probably get shot down. So the guy had to like, basically, his buddies were getting killed around him. So he was alone. You know, he's the last one that survived. But he got killed around him, but he didn't die. He cleared the enemy out. He fell down like a mountain and broke his back, and still fought them off enough to the point where a helicopter could even rescue him. He went above and beyond what was expected, so he was rewarded. I think he got the Medal of Honor. Might have. I'm not sure. But like you do something that nobody, like you do something heroic like that, it's like you're gonna be rewarded.
Yeah, I think my great uncle, I think, has something like that. Let me ask my mom. Hey, Mom, what does our great uncle have, like the medal?
Silver Star.
Silver Star, yeah, I think that's what it is.
That's another one too.
We're doing something crazy in
Yeah,
Vietnam.
we're doing something heroic. Yeah.
Yeah, something heroic.
Or you get the Purple Heart too if you're injured over,
Yeah.
which unfortunately a lot of people get because
Yeah.
people get injured. It happens. I mean, actually, Desert Storm is probably like our best operation. We destroyed them.
But like also my uncle, you know, he has this Silver Star, but he also has, whenever fireworks are going off, he can't go out like
He
in
has
4th of
PTSD.
July. Yeah, he
Yeah.
has PTSD.
So that's, I mean, is the Silver Star really worth it? Like, in the case of like, that's what I mean. Like with war, it's just like the glory. Really, the people think, oh, this glory. Like, oh, you get all these good. Like when people talk about World War II back in the day, like on the radio, like, oh, we're killing the Nazis, we're beating them, we're beating the Japanese. You know, it was awesome. You know, and then you see like Vietnam happening, you're like, this is not awesome. This is terrible. We're dying, getting killed all the time. What are we doing? This is stupid, right? There's no more glory. There's some glory to it, right? Because you're bringing. It is kind of like, for me, it's like if I were to be in a situation like that to be deployed, I you think about your country, you think about what you're fighting for.
Or like Jenny. Jenny loves army dudes for some reason.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I don't know, a lot of people appreciate what people in the army do because we see what they do.
Yeah.
And you're like, that sucks. I wouldn't want to be infantry because I don't think I could do it. I would, I'd try, but I think in a situation like, I don't know if you've ever seen Restrepo.
No.
It's another movie where these guys, infantry, this unit was deployed in the Korengal Valley in Afghanistan, which is like the most like chaotic place there. Like day and night you'll be shot at. Like it's ridiculous.
Okay.
So they were there, and once they get there, one guy gets shot right in the neck and bleeds out in the helicopter, and that guy that got killed was their medic. The first guy that dies is the guy that's supposed to save everybody else. So already from the start, you're like, what are we gonna do now, right? You're already losing your mind. It's like watching that movie. I'm like, I could not be. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, it's like, when's the helicopter getting here? Like, when are we gonna leave? Like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, this sucks. So that's just like when you watch those movies, because it's a documentary. It's like it's a real movie, and there's like real people there. So I think it's on YouTube or Netflix. So you can watch it if you want to, but it's heavy stuff. And that's why I have such respect for those people that are willing to do that. Like, I met a guy.
I feel like there's something more about them, like, cause like, in my mind, in one way I could respect them for wanting to, or for being able to do that and wanting to do that, but in another mind I could be like, dude, this war place is a terrible place. Why would you do that? That's like,
Cause somebody
that's not gonna aid your happiness.
Well,
You
because
should do something else.
somebody has to, unfortunately. If we weren't there to
Does
like,
somebody have to? Because like this is like, now you're saying again, war is necessary.
what's necessary against the people, those crazy people like Taliban, ISIS, Al Qaeda, these people that are just insane, that have to be stopped.
Why? What happens if they aren't stopped?
Well, you have things like ISIS do in their countries over there, where they like rape women, kill people, burn people alive, destroy like monuments in history. Like they're just animals.
So like there comes to a point in time where a state or a system is so corrupt
You have to stop it.
that you have to,
Like the Nazis.
and killing in war, by the way, is itself a corrupt act. Any sort of harm to somebody is
Yes.
you wouldn't want that in a vacuum.
No, you wouldn't want it back to you, no, but
No, in a vacuum, I said.
oh, well, I mean, yeah, but even like that's what. But But that's where it comes into a whole nother thing of like, what are you doing this for, right? Why are you killing this person? Oh, because they're a Nazi. Oh, because they contributed to the loss of 6 million innocent lives. All right, then I'm gonna kill them, right? I can justify it. Whereas if somebody's like put a child in front of me to kill this child, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that because it's a child. The child didn't do anything wrong.
So what if we had like a neo-Nazi here?
I mean, if he didn't kill
He did
anybody,
not contribute, but he has the moral. He has the character of a Nazi.
I would say you're stupid for thinking that. Like, why do you think that? Until he starts killing people, then I'm not going to necessarily do anything because we live in America, right?
You're not gonna preventatively,
'Cause
harm him.
you
I see
can't.
your character. I
Bec-
see you.
Because you can't until something. Unfortunately, unless he's like gonna say he's gonna do it.
Well, you can if you
If you think he's
have
gonna
like
do
a
it.
military or an adjunct from somebody with power.
Well, but they have to have the thought to be like, oh, he's gonna do it. You have to have he has to have the intention. If he just says like, oh, I want to, it's like, okay, he wants to. Let's keep an eye on him. But if he starts planning and like buying guns or has like walks and like does these things like kind of red flags, it's like, all right, now we should pull him out of the
So
situation.
he has to
Something bad
like
happens.
take a step in the direction.
He has to start doing things to prove that he's going, because as we talked about, people can talk all they want, but until they start doing things to prove that they're going to do that, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Like you say, oh, I hate black people, but it's just like, okay, you're just dumb. But like unless they say, oh, I hate black people, they start buying guns and they start like doing things that are like really suspicious that you think they're going to do, police probably arrest them because it's under the I don't know what the word is called, but like he's probably going to do something, so stop it before it happens. Same thing with like terrorists.
Suspicion.
Yeah, they have the suspicion to be like, I don't think you're not going to do anything good when you're saying these bad things and you're buying weapons. Like, I can connect the dots here, right? So
Yeah, the words and the actions
exactly.
together.
So yeah, it's but then like you look at the terrorist groups, terrorist groups are just like terrible people. Nazis killing innocent people, killing women, children, men, just innocent people in general. It's like they have to be stopped. And how are we going to stop them? We have to kill them. They have to, or arrest them and put them in prison so they understand like what you did was wrong, and now this is the punishment that you have to face for that.
So what if you were like, hey terrorists guys, we don't like what you're doing. Here's 40 silos of wheat. You guys can feed your populace.
I mean, yes, but we try to do that before it becomes a terrorist group, though. Like we try to help, like back when like Osama bin Laden and the other guy. Who's the other guy? Osama and
Hussein?
Saddam. There we go.
Saddam. Okay. I
So-
knew something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Osama, or yeah, it's Saddam.
Yeah.
the first
So
name.
they wanted us like he was like destroying their country, and so after we got rid of them, we trained their police force, trained their military. Like, okay, now you guys can prevent it for next time. And like the Mujahideen, I can never say it. Mujahideen, I think it's called. They're like their military that we trained to fight their own battles failed. They were like didn't know what to do. They got overwhelmed easily. Like ISIS just like destroyed them. It's just like we tried to help you guys. We gave you things to make your country better, and then you still didn't do it. So now it's turned into this thing of like now we have another terrorist organization, so we have to recycle again. We have to kill them. Then give people like with Japan, right? We nuked them, and then we gave them some aid after they surrendered, because we're like, all right, this is what happened. You messed up. We punished you, but we will help you get better as long as you don't do these things again. Like we'll push them down, but we'll help them back up.
So now, it would be nice if you could just like say, hey look guys, I've got nuclear weapons. You see them? And then you show them a picture.
That's
Or
what we did.
something.
That's what we did with Japan.
Well, I mean, we actually dropped some on.
We told them first, we're like, we have something we're building that's going to destroy you. They're like, no, you won't. I don't believe it. It's like, okay.
I mean, theoretically, you could have dropped it like in the desert and sent them a video.
Well, we did. We did the Nevada tests.
So did we send them videos?
I
Hey,
don't know
look,
if we-
Japan. Hey guys, look what's up. We can do this to you.
But it was a mindset
Did you
for them.
stop?
it was the mindset for them that like only death is going to stop us. Like with the suicide bombers, right? They're willing to kill themselves to take out other people. So at that point, what can you do? Are you going to kill them? Are you going to beat them to killing themselves?
The nuclear bomb didn't work, though.
It did. They stopped attacking us, didn't they?
I mean, I'm sorry. Clearly, the nuclear bomb worked. So there were some people. There was some number of deaths that they couldn't withstand. They couldn't.
Yeah,
you know,
millions.
like you're saying, there were suicide bombers. Yes, there were.
Kamikazes, yeah.
But clearly, death did stop them.
Well, yeah, well, the devastation, right? The kamikaze soldiers were soldiers that signed up, and like they're willing to die for their country, right? The same way we were too, but we were like,
So I've got a question: is the kamikaze soldier honorable?
I mean, to them, yes,
I wonder if
but
he
the
could land.
guy, there's actually the general who told told the people that were doing that, like to do that, like to give that order to the soldiers, being like, you can do this, crash into them if you have to. He ended up killing himself after the war because he couldn't handle what he did. He couldn't handle that he told people to kill themselves for this stupid war. Because it's such a mindset, like with the Nazis, right? You look back, like, how could they just allow that to happen? Because it's a mindset. You're brainwashed to think it's okay because or whatever says so. Or this guy, like Hitler turned Germany from one of the worst countries in the world to like the best in record time. So he's like, well, he can't really go wrong, right? It must be the Jews' fault, right? Because he's a good guy. He's doing good things for us. So when you have that mindset, I mean, some of them did think like, oh, this isn't good, we should stop, but they would get killed if they said no, right? By the people who were brainwashed. So in that case, what can you really do? But that's the thing, is like people have like minds. Everybody's like different with like even something with like Jonestown, you know, the Jonestown cult. Like you think like, why would anybody
Where,
do
like,
that?
819 people committed suicide with
Exactly, with the
drinking Kool-Aid.
yeah,
Or
the Kool-Aid.
909, I think.
the cyanide Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Or like Marilyn Manson.
You can look at their videos.
Charles Manson.
and
Marilyn
Their
Manson.
videos try to say that, you know, they're talking about like an afterlife.
Yeah, talk about freedom, like, oh, you're gonna go to the magical place now.
Yeah, being a vector, or this world being like a transportation device to another world.
Yeah, and they believe them. So that's the thing, is they're controlling these people because obviously they're giving them something. Like it's like with a dog, right? Why does a dog love their owner so much? Because it gives them food, and it's nice to them. So when like you are nice to your people and you give them things, they really don't. Some of them really won't care. Like it's like Trump said, like I could go out and shoot someone in the middle of New York City, and I wouldn't lose any supporters. I mean, he would probably lose a lot of supporters, but like some people would still be like, he probably had a reason for it. You know, like people are so
Yeah.
fanatic. It's insane. So it's like when you have this fanaticism with people, what can you really do to change their mind when everything the leader tells them is just like, I mean, you can even look at like religion. Everything your leader is telling them is like, oh, this is God's way, this is this deity's
It's interesting,
way.
how does the leader then gain their trust in the first place? Because you assume, like,
You pray
I would
on them.
assume that fanaticism would be like, they would be fanatic for one idea, so it's like they'd be kind of hard to change, I guess. Like after they are fanatic, it's like hard to change them. But what
Exactly.
made them change so drastically in the first place?
Because they were weak. Like Germany after World War II, after World War I was like terrible. Like everybody was poor, dying, and then Hitler came around and was like, I'm gonna give you the best stuff ever.
So you feel like they
So if they prey on the weak.
wait, was he giving? Do they get the best stuff, or do they get a promise of the best stuff?
Well, in his case, they did get it because the country became a superpower in like a few years.
Yeah.
So Germany was looking pretty good, unless you were Jewish.
How about somebody like Trump then?
Well, that's the thing with our presidents, is that since Hitler was a dictator, he had nobody could stop what he wanted to do. Whereas Trump, it's like there's so many checks and balances. Some things he has done a lot of things. And there's like a whole list of things, and it's a good amount. But like there's a lot of things he can't do, like the immigration ban. The Supreme Court's like, no, we don't want you to, so they'll stop it. So it's like he can say what he wants to do, but in our case, he's limited by a lot of different things. And so that's why it's kind of, as people like tear him up and be like, oh, he says he's going to do this, but he didn't do it. It's like, yeah, because people won't let him because Democratic and Republicans, they're like babies sometimes. There's like, oh, just because he's Republican, I'm not going to work with him. It's like, it's such a child, you know? It's like, just, like, why are people like that? You know what I mean? Because it's people
Almost as though you have, like, a war between those two parties.
Yeah, and there's this comedian I like called Bill Burr. He had this joke. He was just like, humans were fine in the beginning, but then once we split into two tribes, we were fucked. Yeah, it was it. Because it turned into, I don't like that tribe. Why? Because they're not us. It's just like, now I'm going to kill them. It's like, that's all that ever is. Democrat, Republican. Why don't you like it? Oh, he's Democrat. What does that even mean? That's just a title. It's like, just work with each other. It's the same thing that happened with Obama. All the Republicans were like, ugh.
Ideally, our titles have, like,
The titles are much...
foundations. Like, they're representations of something much larger.
Like, yeah.
If you said you were a 4-star general,
yeah, because the position.
I should, know that you have lots of heroic actions in your past.
Exactly. You earned the position. But just the word itself doesn't hold any power. It's the position. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could say I'm a general, but I have to do the things that makes me a general, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, with Democrats, Republicans, they do the things that make them these things, but just because they're that thing doesn't mean they can't talk to the person that's of a different thing.
Mhm.
Like, just because you, like, that's why I don't like identity politics, because it leads into tribalism, and tribalism is stupid. Like, the old Native Americans, Iroquois and the Sioux, I don't even remember how to pronounce it. The other ones, why are you guys fighting each other? Oh, because they're not us. It's like, what? It's like, that's so dumb.
I assume they were fighting each other for some other reason, like
what though? Like, what, resources? I mean, in that case,
well,
yes.
maybe they had, like, different religions, or...
I think most Native Americans had, like, the same kind of spiritual, like... I don't know. There's a lot of them, so I can't say that. But, like... But even still, that's the difference of religions. You're fighting over something that you really don't even... Like, come on. Think about it. You're fighting over, like with the Crusades. You're fighting over whose imaginary friend is better.
So I'm thinking, like...
It's about the same God, you just
maybe
call him a different name.
Religion and imaginary friends kind of have a large effect on many interactions throughout the day.
Well, yeah, because it's a religion you can control people with it, and that's what I do smell. Now you open the door.
Sure.
All right, is it still recording? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna end it though.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening. We're gonna eat cookies now.